Hi guys, it's Reagan, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a weekly vlog showing you what I'm making. So knitting, crocheting, sewing, art, painting, like all of that fun stuff. I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to be starting off with this sweater today, but before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about my goals for this week. So usually I'm pretty good about keeping this. I have a couple rules for myself. Rule 1 is that I don't buy yarn unless I have a pattern for it in mind, because I'm so bad about gauging how much yarn I need, and I don't need a ton of yarn that I'm sitting there going, what was this for? So that's rule 1. That one I'm actually pretty good about. Rule 2 is that I can only have one knit and one crochet project going at a time. I broke that one. Maybe I should start with how this rule came about. It was because I was getting a little stressed by the amount of unfinished projects I had crocheting wise. This was before I started knitting. And I have this bag and it was overflowing. This is my work in progress bag. It was so overflowing. It was stressing me out. So I told myself that I couldn't start anything new until I'd gotten down to one project, which I did. But then maybe about 6 months ago, I was working on this crochet button-up sweater, which I'm actually really excited about. But I was very frustrated with myself because I had accidentally been dropping stitches throughout the entire back panel. So I actually had to frog most of it. I was so frustrated that I needed a palette cleanser. And so everyone was talking about the 6-day star blanket on TikTok. So I decided, you know what, this will not take me too long. Maybe not 6 days, maybe 2 weeks, but I'll finish it quickly, right? That was in November. It's May now. It's been about 6 months. And I'm finally on the last row, and I'll be back to one crochet project. So I want to finish that blanket this week. And the other thing I want to do is that when I started this, it was because I was a little bit bored of the knit project I was doing, which was my second beanie, and I'm so close to being done with it. So I wanted to finish that this week also, so that I'm back down to one knit and one crochet project happening at a time. I've listened to 2 chapters, and I have also run out of yarn in this ball of yarn. This is all that is left. But I'm also starting to get a bit of a migraine. My eyes are starting to hurt, which for me is always the first sign. So I think I'm going to try to just take a break and also put an ice pack on my eyes and hope that helps. Unfortunately, my eyes still hurt, but I'm hoping fresh air might help. Although the sun and I don't get along, so I will be wearing a hat and sunglasses. But I'm going to go outside, I'm going to knit and enjoy the day. I have been trying to garden, so I might as well enjoy some of the greenery, since for once my plants aren't crispy. I'm so thrilled with myself. Anyway, I'm going to do that and listen to more of my depressing book. Yesterday, I ended up only knitting on my sweater about 2 inches, a little over 2 inches, and I'm really glad that I switched the needles. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I accidentally went up a size or 2 sizes. It went from 4.5 millimeters to 5.5 millimeters. I'm now back to 4.5, and I'm liking the way it looks a lot better, but honestly, unless I was really looking, I don't think I'd be able to tell where I did that switch. So it's okay, I'm not going to go back and fix it, but I'm going to work on this a little bit more. Then I'm going to finish up one of my other projects. I'm not sure if it'll be the star blanket. That's what I really want to do, but my forearm is feeling a little bit tired, and crocheting usually takes more out of it, especially the stitch that the pattern recommends for the border. And so I might end up finishing the beanie instead. Not sure. And I'm also taking a break from my book. I'm listening to Sunrise on the Reaping, and even thinking about it, I'm getting a little bit teary-eyed. And I need something happy, so I'm going to watch probably Young Sheldon or Harley Quinn, maybe Ted Lasso, we'll see, while I knit a little bit. You might remember in a previous video that I went to the Getty Center to see their gardens because I've always wanted to go. So I'm just going to do a little scrapbook page for it. I have a lot of scrapbooking to do. I have a lot of backlog, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not adding to the backlog and keeping up with what I'm doing. So that's what I'm going to do. I finished one of my objectives for this week. I finished my 6-day star blanket. Really, I should just rename this my 6-month star blanket because I started this around Thanksgiving and it is mid-May right now. Although that is because I did not do it consistently. I made it larger than the pattern and I also used a smaller size yarn, which all contributed to it. But I did really enjoy doing this project, particularly when watching YouTube or movies. And towards the end, when the rounds were taking about an hour, it was just so repetitive and mindless that I could just breeze through it. And the edge actually uses a stitch I've never used before, which doesn't happen too often because I've been crocheting now for 5 years and normally I don't really encounter new stitches, but it is the reversed single crochet, which I think is also called the crab stitch. And it kind of creates this sort of spirally pattern, I guess, on the edge. It also stops it from being quite so stretchy, which I do like. This pattern has honestly taught me a lot about patience and just fixing along the way, honestly, because I would realize I made a mistake because I didn't have the right amount of stitches, and I'd go back and I still wouldn't get the right amount of stitches. I don't think it's the pattern's fault. It's probably a user error on my part, but I could not figure out what I was doing. So I just ended up making sure that the kind of granny square stitches were always the right amount in the right place, because yeah, I could never figure out why on some rounds and some repeats I would be off by a few stitches, but other times I wouldn't. I don't know what was going on there, but this is a free pattern. Again, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just gonna go weave in the ends and I'll give you a little clip for size reference. Wait, I'm gonna hold it like I'm some amazing athlete holding their flag. I'm honestly, so I feel like Batman.